Alrighty, so week 5, it is rolling right along. Remember, we're 9 weeks, so we're really only 4 weeks from here being done. Okay, so now that we've covered to give you some experience with HTML and CSS, now we start the next major topic, which is Bootstrap. Okay, so for lecture this week, there's going to be 2 videos that you need to do. One video, which is this first one, and I say here notes, right? So I want you in your lectures to type, and actually notes, I kind of want to change it now that I've seen it. So maybe it's Bootstrap, right? MD. And then, again, you can use this, but as I'm looking at it, it just makes more sense because this first video is really about an introduction to what is Bootstrap. And he's going to talk about different stuff about how to set up Bootstrap, and some things that we heard when we were looking at the web developer roadmap. So some of those terms may come back around. So really this video is really all about taking notes, okay? So when you're done with that, so as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and do this, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to create a new directory, right, in here, and then you can create in this one. Oh, actually, notes does make sense now that I see it. You know why? Because it'd be notes.md file, okay? So in there, that's right, and you name it Bootstrap. And there is where you'll take notes on this first video. And then in the second video, you're actually going to build something. Okay, so unlike what I had to do for the HTML and CSS, you'll watch this entire video, and then at the end, you'll do one commit message that says bootstrap the grid, and then you push that to GitHub and give us a link. Okay, so you're doing notes and you're doing some code along for this particular one. And I went through just a few minutes ago now and looked at this again. And, you know, this is good stuff because Bootstrap is going to be the thing we're going to use for your Project Zero. And it is a very common framework. I've already talked about this, so I don't need to go on over it. But I think this is a really good introduction to it. Okay. So that's what you need to do. Provide us a link just to that Bootstrap directory once you get that done, because it'll have both your notes and the index file that you're creating there. Okay? All right, so let's go look at the other item. So the other item I want you to do for this week is about reading the docs and implementing something. So I've given you a link here to the Bootstrap documentation. Right now, I want you to find something. Now, if I go over here, by this point, you've already done what's called a Cdn reference. And you heard briefly about Cdn, but in this case, when he talks about setting up Bootstrap, and this is the Cdn right here, is instead of loading all that stuff on your computer, we're just going to reference out on stack path where the Bootstrap CSS is. And you don't have to for this time. I think you could almost get away with it for next time as well, not having the JavaScript. So don't put it in there yet. But here's what I want you to go down back in these points and look at, because he's talking about the grid. So I want you to both review here what he's already gone over and then add something too, right? So like utilities for layout or flexbox options, but maybe it's really probably more likely components that you'll do. And I want you all to select something different, is to go in and maybe look at, okay, here's how you do the card layout, and then add something. And this might be a little weird, but you got it, is that then on the bottom of that code along that you were doing, add another div, and then in here or somewhere, right, down at the bottom of this, add your output from this. Like, first study what it is, implement something that you're interested in that you might want to see on your site. You can see there's a lot of stuff here, modals, jumbotrons, inputs, right? Jumbotrons could go higher up. You can kind of, I'm not real stuck on the fact that it's at the bottom. You could put it on the top if you wanted, as far as where this flows. Like in this case, like I'm going to look at the output, like I have it down here, right? But, you know, play with it depending on what you've chosen. So what you want to do is, like I said, add this into your Bootstrap work we started from lecture. And then once you're done, just take a print screen. Now, why am I having you take a print screen here is because the work we've been doing is up in the private repos and you don't see each other's private repos. So this just gives you another chance to take print screens. And if you want, right, also include in your print screen the VS Code output, or you can. The other thing, I've shown this, but I'll show it again. You can also do inspect, right? And this actually will show you the output as well. So that's another thing you could do. But however you do it, then do the get workflow on that file. Now the file that the print screen that you're gonna do here is gonna go in your public repo under images, that folder. Okay, and most of you have been getting this right. And then in your reply, you'll embed that into your reply, and then you'll give us a link to the Bootstrap item that you implemented and write something about why you chose it. Again, this is a hands-on, so there's no replies required. So reading docs is a really important part of this industry. You might as well get used to it now. And Bootstrap is a really friendly one. I've read many technical sites, and this is so friendly because of the way that it's laid out. So good hands-on experience there. So now the last thing I'm going to have you do for this week 5 is actually do a topic called semantic versioning. And this is, I have a video here, so watch the video. And then think about, first understand what it is, right? So every piece of software you use, and that software could be a website, that software could be something on your phone, that software could be whatever. Wherever software you has a version. Like I just got an updated software for my car, and I uploaded, I installed it once it was told me I have a new version. And so what I do is I go look at the specific version to know how much of an update that is. So I want you to first understand what this topic is, and then go find something that you use all the time and talk about, the version that you have, and then go find out maybe what that version, like what was the major updates, so semantic updates. Again, the smaller the numbers, right, the minor changes, and then when they change major, like if they go from, let me think of one, Android. Like I use Android all the time. My Android version right now is, I think it's Android 11. So when they move from 10 to 11, that's a major breaking change. But some of the minor changes, like depending on how much they're changing, it's just good to understand this idea of how do they come up with this semantic versioning. And it's used everywhere, and most people don't even know it exists. So I want you to do that. In this case, just tell us which one you're talking about, and then write 150 words about that, and now what you understand about this. This video is a little bit older, and then reply to 2 students. Okay? All right, hopefully that helps you know what you need to do this week. My job is now to go look at the rest of the week 5, and then look at talking about Project Zero. All right, I'll talk to you soon.